wild boars, with their ability to survive in any condition and sharp tusks, not only devastate crops, causing millions of dollars in damage, but also pose a risk of spreading disease. At this critical moment, hunters must step in to stop the threats. Will this battle be enough to halt the monstrous horde? Coming up are breathtaking moments of ambush and pursuit, where courage and precision decide everything. Follow along now. A thrilling ambush is unfolding on the hills of Turkey. Nick's hunting team arrived early, taking positions to surround the area. After 15 minutes, a hunter swiftly spots his target. Without hesitation, he locks his aim and pulls the trigger. The gunshot echoes, sending the boar herd into a panicked stampede, leaving the last one's body on the cold ground. A decisive, precise shot, kicking off the relentless hunt. Not letting the prey escape, the radio immediately signals the location of a wild boar that just slipped away. Nick quickly determines its direction using the tracking device and rushes to the spot. There it is, a large, fat wild boar surrounded by the pack of hunting dogs at the base of the slope. As it steps onto the trail, a bullet strikes the beast directly, giving it no chance to flee. A clean operation, marking another victory for the team. Continuing down the hillside, Nick quickly spots a wild boar lurking in the bushes. As it emerges from the shadows, it instantly falls into his sights. Gunshots ring out in rapid succession, blocking its escape route on the trail. The beast collapses in the grass by the path, another threat eradicated from this forest. At the same time, amid the dense bushes in Spain, a top-notch ambush is being executed. Another hunting team has surrounded the area, poised and ready. Jack is intently scanning the surroundings when a wild boar suddenly bolts out of the bushes. Without a moment's thought, a precise shot rings out, dropping the beast before it can react. A lightning-fast, decisive reflex that saves this land from a destructive claw. At another position, after 15 minutes of waiting, the final beast finally appears in the hunter's sights. The gunshot rings out instantly, so fast that the boar collapses before it even realizes what's happening. Just one shot, halting the threat to this land. Continuing to track the remaining traces of the wild boars, a sudden rustling sound breaks out. The hunter immediately turns toward the noise, and at that very moment, a wild boar charges out. Acting on instinct, he pulls the trigger, and the beast collapses before it can launch an attack. A truly heart-stopping moment. Just a split second slower, and it might not have been the boar lying on the ground. Another threat eliminated in the blink of an eye. Hunting wild boars is not just a passion, it's a battle for survival between humans and the savage claws of these monstrous creatures. Only fearless, experienced hunters have the grit to handle life or death situations like the one just witnessed. Danger lurks. Brutal wild boar hunt. The once fertile, lush land now bears only the scars of devastation caused by wild boars. They have mercilessly ravaged this place, leaving lasting trauma for the locals and causing millions of dollars in damage. Will these monstrous beasts be eradicated? Can the hunters stop them in time before it's too late? Follow along for the thrilling hunt scenes coming up next. On the rich, fertile soil of Picardy, a pack of ferocious beasts was stealthily wreaking havoc on everything in sight. As soon as the report came in, John's team was on the scene early, swiftly moving into ambush positions, ready and waiting. Before long, one member spotted a wild boar quietly rummaging for food in the verdant meadow, oblivious to the eyes watching its every step. He quickly readied his rifle, took precise aim, and fired. The bullet hit its mark, and the beast dropped instantly, unaware of its fate. With one clean, accurate shot, the rampage of this savage creature was decisively stopped. At the same moment, in another part of the field, a wild boar dashed across Jack's line of sight. It drew closer and closer to his aim. Seizing the moment, he swiftly fired, bringing down the prey. The bullet struck, and the boar collapsed before it could escape. Another threat was eliminated. A perfectly orchestrated ambush was unfolding at the edge of the field, where the savage beasts often hid when spotted. This time, John was tasked with holding the choke point, determined to let none escape. It wasn't long before his teammate's signal rang out. A wild boar appeared, charging swiftly through John's line of sight. Almost simultaneously, the crack of his rifle echoed with precision. Each shot felled a beast, none able to flee. That shot not only took down the marauder, but also saved the crops, restoring peace to the fertile fields of Picardy. In the towering grass, a sudden counterattack by a wild boar made our hearts race. This hunt belonged to Thomas's team. They were already on the scene, tracking the faint traces left by the wild beasts. A rustling sound broke the silence, and Thomas swiftly turned toward the noise. A wild boar emerged from the dense undergrowth. Without warning, it charged, aiming to attack Thomas. A gunshot rang out instantly, halting the beast's dangerous assault. One must admire Thomas's composure. Had he hesitated for even a second, the one lying in the grass might not have been the boar. At the same moment, Thomas's teammates swiftly spotted a target in the deep grass within the nearby forest. The wild boar moved sluggishly, concealed among the thick blades, but it couldn't evade the hunter's scope. Taking position, he selected the perfect angle for the shot. The bullet was fired, and the boar collapsed onto the green grass. Another threat neutralized, another location secured. Thickets and fields have borne witness to heart-stopping trigger pulls.
Fields torn apart, crops ravaged overnight, livestock pens left in ruins, and it all traces back to one culprit: wild boars. Not only are they appearing more frequently, but they're also becoming bolder and more aggressive. Agricultural damage has reached a critical level, and before the next planting season begins, the most experienced hunters have stepped in. In today's video, we'll take you deep into heart-pounding chases and daring ambushes, moments that are sure to leave you stunned. The first hunt comes from Ryan, a seasoned hunter living in the Anatolian mountains of Turkey. During one of his outings, an unexpected encounter took a dangerous turn. While tracking a trail, a large boar suddenly charged out from the bushes, heading straight for Ryan in a full-blown attack. The danger unfolded in a split second, but with nerves of steel, Ryan spun around, took aim, and brought the beast down just before it could reach him. Regaining his focus, he spotted another boar nearby, startled by the gunshot and trying to flee. But Ryan was quicker. He tracked it, took the shot, and brought down his second target shortly after. We now move on to Ken, a hunting enthusiast living in the mountains of Denizli. After several days of watching the area, he discovered a herd of wild boars moving through the forest, the very culprits that had devastated local cornfields at the base of the mountain. However, things weren't so simple. The boars were clever and quick on their feet. They kept fleeing and changing direction, making it harder than ever to get a clear shot. Then there it was. As the herd entered his line of sight, he opened fire. Boar after boar went down, while the others scattered in fear, but none managed to escape his dead-accurate aim. This is Mark, a professional hunter who captured an unforgettable moment when he spotted a group of wild boars tearing through backyards. Wasting no time, he grabbed his hunting rifle and took action. The sloped terrain made it difficult to approach, but Mark used the hilltops as natural ambush points. With a clear line of sight, he was able to close in and take down each boar with expert precision. While other hunters were still navigating rugged mountains, Logan was having a truly unique experience in the snow-covered peaks of northern Turkey. With deep sub-zero temperatures and heavy snowfall, every movement was slow and deliberate, but in return, wild boar tracks stood out clearly against the white landscape. Logan advanced steadily, each step firm and quiet. When he spotted the herd foraging along the slope, he waited patiently for them to separate. Then, without hesitation, he pulled the trigger. The sudden strike caught the boars completely off guard. As the first one dropped, a rapid succession of clean, calculated shots followed, efficient and cold, just like the frozen scene around him. And to wrap up today's journey, we have Neil's story. He also had a remarkable hunt during the harsh winter season. While crossing a quiet, snow-covered slope, he unexpectedly spotted a lone wild boar struggling to move through the deep snow in search of shelter. With the target in his sights, Neil calmly got into position, observed carefully, and with a single precise shot, the animal went down, putting an end to the destruction it had caused in the area. Stealthy ambushes, decisive trigger pulls, and every frame sent back brimming with tension. We've distilled the most intense, breathtaking moments. Do you have the courage to face this relentless pursuit? Watch now and feel every second stretch tight like a drawn bowstring. On today's journey, we begin at the Baranya Fields, a vast, open expanse that, despite its flat and airy terrain, is the perfect hiding place for wild boars lurking between the edge of the forest and endless rice fields. Early in the morning, Pon's team arrived at the location, fully equipped with weapons and a pack of hunting dogs, ready to track down any signs of prey. After moving into their ambush position, 15 minutes passed in complete silence. Suddenly, a rustling sound echoed very close. Pon instantly scanned the area. A massive wild boar, weighing around 400 pounds, had it sensed something? Not letting it escape, Pon squeezed the trigger. Each shot rang out with purpose. The boar collapsed into the grass, marking the team's first triumph of the day. Leaving Baranya behind, we continue our journey to the vineyards of Tuscany, where the once peaceful rows of vines have become the hiding grounds of savage beasts. Ronnie's team came fully prepared, armed with gear and a pack of hunting dogs, scouring each row of vines for signs of movement. As they examined the ground carefully, a sudden burst of barking echoed from afar. The hounds had picked up a scent. In less than a minute, a wild boar burst into view, panicked and charging through the vineyard. Do you think it could escape? Ronnie didn't give it the chance. A single shot rang out swift and decisive. The boar collapsed between the rows of grapes. In this hunt, there's no place for hesitation, only the fastest survive. Bidding farewell to the peaceful vineyards, we head straight to Corsica, a rugged land of jagged rocks and thick underbrush. The terrain grows harsher with every step, presenting a real challenge, even for seasoned marksmen. But Finn wasn't fazed. He had set out early, weaving through rocky outcrops and pushing past thorny thickets in silent pursuit of his prey. While navigating a narrow trail, a group of wild boars suddenly burst out from the brush, rummaging for food. Without hesitation, the first gunshot echoed through the hills. The startled boars scattered in What would you do in a moment like this? Chase them through the unforgiving terrain or let them vanish into the mountainside? Finn didn't back down. He fired again and again, each shot shadowing the frantic steps of the fleeing boars. But the terrain gave them cover, allowing most to disappear into steep, rocky slopes. Sona's team was already in position, spreading out across various ambush points around the mountain. Sona quickly settled into place, eyes locked on the landscape, patiently scanning for any signs of movement. Movement detected. A wild boar, panicked, came crashing through the underbrush in a frantic escape. The moment the beast came into view, Sona chambered around and locked onto the target. John, a seasoned marksman, enters with one goal in mind: let none escape. After just 15 minutes of pushing deeper into the dense thicket, he spots his target. A massive wild boar, nearly 500 pounds, suddenly charges straight at him. The boar collapses at his feet, ending the confrontation in an instant. Thick with thorns and tangled vegetation, it's long been considered an untouchable stronghold of wild boars. Less than 5 minutes in, a wild boar suddenly burst through the undergrowth at nearly 30 kilometers. The moment it entered his sights, Jack pulled the trigger. A single shot rang out. The boar collapsed into the dry grass. A clean, precise, and ice-cold finish to the near the town of Drew, in the northwest of the Uri-Tilwar province. The foray Dominial de Drew comes alive every April and May. That's when hunters like us are allowed to target invasive wild boars in an effort to control their ever-growing population. So, join us as we kick off this thrilling hunting journey right now. As soon as we released the hunting dogs and fired the opening shot, a large herd of wild boars dashed across the trail in front of us. It was an irresistible target that our hunting team simply couldn't pass up. We quickly split up and set up ambushes at different points. Knowing the boars would soon scatter once they sensed danger. Just as we predicted, a few wild boars broke away from the herd and headed straight toward us. However, despite our efforts to fire quickly, we missed the opportunity, letting them slip away and escape. Quickly chasing after the wild boar that had just escaped, I quietly took cover behind a tree and waited patiently. The moment it reappeared, it didn't hesitate. I pulled the trigger instantly. My target was the lead boar, but unfortunately, the shot missed and it vanished into the forest. However, the missed shot didn't discourage me. I quickly gave chase and, together with my companion, set up an ambush. There it is, the boar. Finally, after all our efforts, luck was on our side. With just one shot, the boar dropped instantly and rolled down the slope. Just seconds later, another gunshot rang out. My friend had just taken down another massive wild boar. A proud victory and a true testament to our never-give-up spirit. The dry leaves on the ground rustled with every movement of the boars, making it impossible for them to hide their presence. We were able to quickly locate our target. As the sound grew louder, we knew it was time to open fire. Even though the boar stubbornly kept running despite being wounded, we knew it would soon collapse from exhaustion. In another spot within the forest, John spotted a series of tempting targets. As soon as they dashed past him, he didn't hesitate and immediately opened fire. Caught in the rain of bullets, one wild boar failed to dodge in time, got hit, and collapsed, left lying in the middle of the wild forest. The strongest and largest wild boars are always our top targets. With their destructive power and rapid reproduction, they pose a threat that cannot be ignored. That's why our entire team stays determined, relentlessly tracking and taking them down to help preserve the balance of the ecosystem here. Through the layers of camouflage, I spotted another wild boar on the move. But this cunning creature was sharp, it stayed alert, and seemed to catch our scent, immediately picking up speed. I didn't miss the chance. I fired without hesitation. After a rapid burst of shots, the boar was finally taken down. The sky gradually turned gloomy and a few raindrops began to fall, so we decided to pack up and head back. Suddenly, a signal came from the vehicle ahead. Our teammate had spotted a herd of wild boars about to cross the road. Without a second thought, we jumped out of the car. 2 gunshots rang out, and surprisingly, both hit their targets. The entire team couldn't hide their excitement, proud of the glorious achievements from today's hunt.